Hey, how's it going? It's Manny, Lone Star Gardener. It is a really chilly, gloomy spring day. I was hoping it was gonna be sunny today. I think it's gonna be colder tonight and like this for the next couple of days until the weekend. But even though it's a little chilly, we still have a lot to do today. A lot of off-camera stuff. We'll do a few on-camera things too. Mainly today, I'm gonna answer a lot of y'all's questions that I've gotten on my Instagram on how I set up my irrigation, how to get started, the first steps, what to consider when you want to start automating your garden instead of hand watering. That could take a long time. Last year, at the peak of the summer, at the peak of the growing season, it took about an hour and a half if everything had to be watered that same day. Hour and a half for all the containers and the watermelons. The corns were already on irrigation and that was awesome. That was amazing. That's what gave me the little tick, the little seed of making everything else, irrigating everything else. And I was pretty overwhelmed in the winter trying to think of where to start, how to get started, but I figured it out. It was really easy, so we're gonna answer y'all's questions today about that. And I'm also going to install the watermelon line. This is gonna be zone 1B. So we're gonna install that today, show you a really good step-by-step. It's really easy, which is why I've just kind of touched up on it on my previous parts of this irrigation project, but I'll do it again. Really easy, real simple. We'll go step-by-step and then hopefully that answers some of y'all's questions. And if not, you can always ask again. So a couple off-camera things. I'm going to flatten this out and start getting it ready for the watermelons. I already turned over the clover here, but some of them are still growing even though I turned it over. So we're gonna flatten everything out, cover it with dirt, and we're gonna do the same thing with the corn. Flatten it out, add some more dirt on top of that so it's ready for corns, probably at the beginning of next week. If you remember in a couple videos ago, I sprayed to kill all the grass to get ready for artificial turf, and some spots are still green. Some of the more vigorous weeds are still growing, so it just needs another spray. Not today though, because it's really windy and I don't want it to drift into what's growing in the tub. Look at all this. Beautiful. Onions, radishes, 2 kinds of radishes, and carrots, 2 kinds of carrots. They're doing really well. I'm really excited. Well, now that I think about it, and I've been thinking about it for a little bit, I was going to extend the line from the watermelon, the main line, over to the onions, but I think I'm just still gonna hand water everything in the tub and just keep the irrigation to the watermelons. But I think that's what we're gonna do. We can always change it. That's the beauty of the system. It's awesome. Also started my seeds 2 weeks late. If you follow my social medias and if you know me, you know I am 2 weeks late in getting this started. It's been a crazy couple weeks, but better late than never. We have them started. We're keeping them covered. It's a cloudy day today, so the sun shouldn't dry them out too bad. So they're getting ready. I have to get everything else ready, including the other containers. That's more off-camera stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about the irrigation, where to start, how to install it, and how my setup is set up. Stay tuned. Excuse the wind. I'm trying to block the microphone with my vest, but we'll see how that goes. So real easy, how to get set up with your irrigation. The first step, you want to consider the area that you want to irrigate. Big area, small area, a lot of containers, a lot of in-ground stuff. Whichever, that irrigation will work perfect with either one of those situations. Different zones that you want to get water to in different spots of the yard, like mine are. I have 4 different zones. It all works perfect just from the one water source, the spout that's coming out of the house. Just get that kind of in your head, get an idea, draw up a diagram, whatever works for you, to get an idea of where you're wanting to get that water out to. The next step, come up with a budget. The irrigation isn't terribly expensive. The smaller the area that you want to irrigate, the cost is gonna be less than a bigger area. After that, I would start looking up different manufacturers or different brands of irrigation materials. I use DripWorks. Everything I use, I'll put a description in the bottom of this video. You wanna stick with that manufacturer or brand just to make sure that all your tubing, fittings, emitters, they all fit, they're all compatible with each other, and so you don't run into issues down the line. Lowe's and Home Depot have some irrigation kits. Even Walmart has some irrigation kits that you can start out with just to get an idea. And also the dedicated manufacturers and brands have starter kits too. That's pretty much it. Just the area that you want to irrigate, your budget and then picking a brand and manufacturer to get your materials. So off camera, I'm gonna hook up the watermelon line, the zone 1B, and then we'll go in depth on how to connect everything, where everything goes, and what to do once you get your main line set up. So we're starting here with the water source spout coming out of the house. I have a 4-way manifold. This connects the corn zone. These two are the hoses for the timers, and this one's just a free hose so I can hand water things. So you want to start out with line for your main line. This is 1/2-inch tubing. This is what I use for my main line to get the water to where the plants are going to be. You want to have a start. This is the female head start, and with DripWorks Easy Lock system, what you do is you get your line, you work it into the Easy Lock, and then after you get it in, you just screw it down, lock it in. And this is just a female head, like if you would screw into a spigot or a spout. And instead of doing that with the spout, we're just screwing it on to the start of the timer. All right, we're further down the line and we need to make a corner around this. And so we use a corner fitting, and it's Easy Lock, so the same way, you work it in, lock it down. You work another piece of tubing in, lock it down. We make another corner in the tubing right there. And for this section, we had to use a coupler fitting. And this is a fitting that you use when you want to connect two different pieces of tubing in a straight line, or if there's a leak, you cut out the leak, connect the two sides of the tubing, and it's Easy Lock. So you just work it in, lock it down, work it in, lock it down. Another corner piece. Those bricks are just temporary until I get stakes. And then you want to end your main line with an end cap or a figure-8 clamp. With the figure-8, you'll bend the main line, put the clamp in place, but I like the way that the Easy Lock end cap looks, so we're gonna go with that. Now that we have our main line in place, now it's time to connect our emitters. In this case, we're using 1/4-inch emitter line, 6-inch spaced. To do that, you need a 1/4-inch punch to punch into your main line. After you get that punched in, you use a 1/4-inch transfer barb, work that in to the emitter line, punch that into the main line. Then you'll either coil your drip line around a plant or extend it up and down a row, whatever the situation calls for. So if you're using drip line emitter like I am, and you want to extend that out to an area where the space in between shouldn't get any water, you'll do the same thing with one extra step. You'll use regular 1/4-inch tubing to extend that line out. You'll punch a hole in your main line, connect the 1/4-inch transfer barb to your regular tubing, punch that in, extend that tubing out to where you want the drip line to start. Cut that off with scissors. You'll use another transfer barb, connect the regular tubing to the emitter line, circle the plant or extend the row with the emitter line, and then after you're done, you'll plug it with a goof plug. Not too bad, right? Irrigation isn't that scary. It's just get an idea of the area you want to irrigate, come up with a budget, find a manufacturer or brand that you feel comfortable using, getting all the materials from that one spot, tubing, your fittings, and then the type of emitter you want. That's really it. Just setting everything up. Every kind of application is going to be a little bit different. Again, I use DripWorks, and they use that Easy Lock system. It's really easy to use. Just work it in, tighten it down, and it keeps it in place, lets the water flow. And you can go with different types of main line. I use the 1/2-inch main line, but for my application, for the kind of area that I'm using, the 1/2-inch tubing works really well. And then getting everything out with the 1/4-inch to really dial in the specific area with the 1/4-inch tubing works really well. And so far, the strawberries have been liking it, the potatoes have been liking the system, and that's pretty much all I have right now. Later on, I'm going to install that 1/4-inch emitter line into the watermelon and into the sunflower boxes, and then also the in-ground pumpkins too. That'll come later on. Again, off-camera stuff, off-camera content, but you can find all those updates on everything that I don't show on here on my Instagram, LoneStar_Gardener. I'll put that in the description below like I always do. All the materials I use for DripWorks, it's gonna go in the description. Links to their tutorials are on their product pages. So for the specific emitters, for the specific lines, for the specific products, they'll have an instructional video on there. And really just look up DripWorks on YouTube. You'll be able to find them on there as well. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. If you have any other questions, if I went through it too fast, if you think that I skipped a step, comment below, send me a message on Instagram. I'm on there all the time. So if you have any advice on the rest of the irrigation, any comments on that, any questions, let me know. I'm gonna call this the final video of the irrigation project. All there is left to do is just dial in exactly where I'm gonna put the emitters with the 1/4" tubing to get it in the exact spot. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the content on this channel is gonna be progress videos, any other projects I come up with. I have my seeds to take care of, make sure that they get moisture and don't dry out. They spring up the way they're supposed to, and get the rest of the containers in their spots, set those up, mix those containers up with half new soil, half soil from last year, put some fertilizer in there. Again, any advice, criticism, questions, let me know. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to follow more content like this, and we'll see you in the next video. Really excited for the rest of spring and the rest of the year. It's going to be a good year. So stay safe, and we'll see you next time.